Welcome to the course Environmental and Resource Economics. My name is Sabuj Kumar Mandal. I am a faculty here at the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences, IIT Madras, and I will be taking you through this course. This is a 12-week or 30 hours duration course. So in today's lecture, my objective is to give a brief outline of this course, Environmental and Resource Economics. First of all, why should we study environmental economics? We should study environmental and resource economics because it helps us understanding the interaction between economy and the environment. And this understanding of the interaction is essential for better analyzing the environmental problems and to come up with effective solutions. When you talk about the interaction between economy and the environment, basically economic agents, they derive four important services from the environment in the process of their production and consumption requirement. Firstly, environment acts as a major supplier of the materials and energy which is required for production. Secondly, in the process of production, economic agents, they generate lot of pollution and garbage which the environment absorbs by its natural absorptive capacity. Environment also supplies the amenity value to the economic agents. And lastly, when we in the process of production and consumption we derive this type of services, then we disturb the environment, and environment also gives some feedback to the economic agents. For an example, we can understand as we keep on generating pollution in the process of our production, environment gives feedback in the way of global warming and climate change, which in turn reshape the economic activities of the agents. That means this interaction will tell us how to optimally and efficiently use environmental services for maximum social welfare, and that is how economics come into play an important role in the discourse of environmental problems. For the for better analysis of environmental problems and their solutions, we outline the course at several macro and micro modules. We start at the macro level and then we come down to the micro level modules. First of all, at the macro level, we discuss the impact of economic growth on environment, because economic growth is the prime objectives of almost all the economies. However, in the process of achieving higher economic growth, economies, they generate lot of pollution and they degrade the environment in the process of industrialization. That is why understanding the impact of growth on environmental quality becomes imperative, and there are two schools of thought in this regard. Firstly, the environmental Kuznets-Karp hypothesis, which says that as the economy grows, even though initially environmental quality starts declining, it improves automatically once a certain per capita level of income is achieved. Therefore, economic growth is a remedy for environmental problem, and it's not a cause. However, the other school of thought, which is sustainability school, and proponent of this sustainability school, they say that validity of environmental Kuznets-Karp hypothesis is only limited to certain extents. Therefore, we cannot blindly rely on economic growth to take care of all sorts of environmental problems. They suggest growth with accountability is the need of the hour. However, accountability from the producer's point of view or from the consumer's point of view does not come automatically, and it calls for regulation. That is why our next module is impact of environmental regulation on competitiveness. Why this is so? Because there is a traditional belief that any sort of regulation is actually bad. However, Michael Porter, he stood up against this traditional wisdom, and then he said that regulation is not always bad. Rather, if the regulation is properly designed and effectively implemented, then that leads to innovation, and that leads to a win-win situation in the form of better environmental quality with higher economic growth. Therefore, in this module, we discuss Porter's argument as well as counter argument for regulation competitiveness relationship. Then we come down to our micro level analysis, and we start with externalities and market failure, because environmental degradation for the economists is nothing but a negative externalities, and market, even though it achieves efficiency in other contexts, cannot satisfy its objective of efficiency in the context of or in the presence of externality. Therefore, we discussed in detail about externality, market failure, and how the Gaussian bargaining can be an effective tool to come up with optimal level of pollution level. Next, we discussed about incentive design, because we believe the economists, they believe the rational individuals, they respond to incentives. So how different market-based instruments can actually be used to deal with environmental problems, that also we discuss in this course. Once we discussed about incentive design, our next module would be to discuss environmental valuation, economic valuation of environmental goods. Why this is important to discuss? Because the economists, they believe that environmental degradation is basically it basically happens due to the fact that environmental goods and services are undervalued in absence of any market. Therefore, the price signal what we get in absence of market is improper. We believe most of the environmental goods and services are free good. That is the reason, in absence of any market, the improper price signaling tells us that environmental goods are just like a free good, and consumers tend to overconsume this. This overconsumption of environmental goods and services is therefore the main reason for degradation. That is why in this module, environmental economics, we will discuss how environmental economists, they develop different approaches for this non-market based valuation of environmental goods and services. Up to this, what we have discussed is basically the environmental economics, and the other half of this course is resource economics, wherein we will be basically discussing optimal extraction of renewable and non-renewable resources. In this context, intertemporal choice from the economic agents become very, very important, because here we assume the resource owner has a finite supply of resource, and the resource owner wants to maximize the utility or satisfaction out of these resources over a period of time. That is why it is not a static optimization, rather dynamic optimization and control theory becomes important. Now, dynamic optimization, even though it is a mathematically challenging and involved topics, in this course we will be trying to understand even that challenging mathematical tool in a very, very lucid way, so that you can apply the tool of dynamic optimization for your requirement in the context of optimal extraction whenever intertemporal choice is involved. We will be using two textbooks for this course. One is Environmental Economics in Theory and Practice by Nick Hanley, Jason Sogren, and Ben White. And other textbook is Introduction to Environmental Economics by the same author. Apart from that, we will be using several journal articles, and I will be supplying those articles as and when required. Now, regarding the importance of this course, in a time when global climate change becomes the most important threat to the humanity, then a course on environmental and resource economics is not only important in academia but also in corporate. Why? Because nowadays the companies, the corporate sectors have also started doing their business in a socially responsible way to create their green image, to get the benefit from the capital market. That is why a good understanding of this course, a successful completion of this course will help the student to understand the frontier areas of environmental economies that will help them in their higher studies in academia, in applied economic research, as well as though for those who would be joining in industry to analyze and to suggest appropriate policy prescriptions for the corporate sector. With this, I am closing our discussion of this introductory lecture, and I wish you all the best for your learning of environmental and resource economics. Thank you.